Another episode of Car Ride Chronicles with your favorite country cousin JT. What I want to talk to you guys about though is the single most important strategy that I've identified and applied consistently in my life. And this strategy has saved me from going broke multiple times, even when finances aren't tight or anything like that. This single strategy also has allowed me to make crazy amounts of money as well. Foundationally, let's go ahead and set it so that way we're all on the same page. There are high income earners that can be cash poor. There are entrepreneurs, I can't call their name just out of respect for them, because I'm not saying this to bash on them. I'm saying this for the people that honestly don't know this. There are entrepreneurs that make 8 figures a year, $20+ million a year, and they still are living check to check, year to year. Whereas somebody else, maybe one person watching this, will say, if I made $20-25 million one year, I could retire for the rest of my life. There are people that make $20-25 million a year, and they have to work every single year hard as they can to try to keep it coming in, because the business that they're in has very high operational costs, and then they also have high personal living expenses as well, just based off of the things they accumulated over time. It's called lifestyle creep, right? Don't recommend it, but just keeping it a buck with you. All right. So one strategy that has helped me when times are good, we making crazy money to make even more money. But also when sales are down, the economy is taking a hit, we're cash poor because all our money is tied up in investments and we're waiting on that money to come back to us, is being an entrepreneurial farmer, right? Somebody said, you must be kidding me. I promise you, right? There are 8-figure earners that if you just listen to them talk, like you didn't see the car they pulled up in, the outfit they had on, right? If you just listen to them talk, you'll think that they work at like Dollar General or something. Like, man, this seems like a good person. They just don't make enough money. All right. So being an entrepreneurial farmer. So I became an entrepreneur back in 2014 and been consistently full-time in entrepreneurship ever since. What does it mean to be an entrepreneurial farmer? Yes, I'm a country boy from the Carolinas, but I'm not telling you that you got to go buy a few acres of land and some mules and start working the land. What I mean by that is you need to be sowing entrepreneurial seeds consistently, just like a traditional farmer. When a farmer goes to plant a crop, what do they understand? They're not going to get the crop overnight, and it's not wise for them to plant one seed. Let's take it even a step back. When a farmer decides that they want to plant a crop, what's one of the first things they got to do early on in their journey? They got to prepare the land. They got to till up the soil, right? So you got to create an environment that's conducive to the success that you want in life. That's a nugget. So the first thing that I've learned to do, and that I want to impart with you, and you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades of your life to figure this out like I did, is first, just like a traditional farmer will till up the ground to prepare an environment that's most likely for them to be successful, what are you doing right now to prepare an environment where you can be successful? The big mistake that a lot of people make is this. They'll say, okay, JT, man, how I can make some money? I know you know people that day trade. You know people that flip stuff on Amazon and make a lot of money, got Shopify stores. Should I start a podcast? Should I start investing in real estate, this or that, right? And let's be honest with you. It doesn't matter how great your seeds are. It doesn't matter how much fertilizer, how much water, how much sunlight you give it. If we were to just throw good seeds on the ground, throw fertilizer on it, throw water on it, and let it be in the sun, we still are more than likely not going to have a successful crop. Why? We didn't prepare the environment. So how do you prepare the environment to be successful? All right. So That is, you first have to identify what is in your environment right now that's preventing you from being able to save money to invest. For you to go all in on entrepreneurship or investing, is it that you're so consumed with social media or escapism and distractions that anytime you try to do something, if it doesn't work in 30 days, you're on to the next thing? Well, that's a discipline problem. That's a focus problem. It don't matter what tactics, what strategies. I could go detail and give you a free masterclass on exactly what to do step by step to make X amount of dollars. But if you're undisciplined, if you can't maintain focus, it's still not going to work. And in the entrepreneurial space, what happens? Well, broader than the entrepreneurial space, in the social media space, what happens? If somebody just kicks out a whole bunch of game to a lot of people without first explaining to them their environment has to change. And just to be very direct with you, your entrepreneurial environment is not just your physical environment, it's more importantly your belief system. It's your belief system. Do you believe that you're somebody that's worthy of making $100,000 a year, making $100,000 in a month, right? My single best month is still less than $200,000. It was around, by myself, probably somewhere around $140,000, right? That's in a single month. Best month I ever had to date. Now, that's me by myself. In partnership with other people, because I don't believe in getting rich alone, my single best month has been over $1 million once I partnered with other people. All right. So the first thing that I want you all to know, and this is a real strategy, but I got to go through it in order so that way you can really get the most effect out of it, is we have to become entrepreneurial farmers. The first thing or something early on that we got to do is we got to ensure that the environment that we're in is already conducive to our success. I can't tell you, here's how to day trade stock options, and you're not going to consistently open up Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim, look at your indicators, see what the market is telling you that is highly likely to do, have you enter at the right time in a high probability trade based off of your setups, and then trust your setup long enough to be profitable, right? If you not having the right soil or the proper belief system, the proper environment, nothing else matters, right? I think I've beat that enough for everybody here to understand belief system, proper environment. Second thing, let's say you do have the right belief system. You do believe you're capable of making a lot of money, regardless of the fact that you never made that kind of money before. You are willing to separate yourself from the distractions, whoever it may be, whatever it may be, right? Now you have to start sowing seeds. When even on good soil, I don't sow one seed. So what does sowing seeds look like for entrepreneurs, right? So at the scale that I am now, and then I'll walk it back to how I started when I didn't have much money, but just to give you the bird's eye view, and then we'll walk it back to maybe where somebody is today that doesn't have a lot of resources financially. I have money in real estate. I have over $1 million in debt-free real estate, right? So that's a seed that I have that I'm holding long term, right? I'm not no real estate mogul. I'm not a Grant Cardone or Meet Kevin or Ben Mala or Manny Koshbin or all of these big time, they're known for being real estate dudes. All right. When my mentor did my personal financial statement and we looked at everything minus expenses, I have $1.3 million in debt-free real estate. I'm in the Carolinas, right? Now, that may not be any property in New York City or Los Angeles or any high-income area, but where I am, that is 8 properties that we have, and we're looking at a commercial building. You guys know we're trying to buy the bank. Literally, the real estate and the commercial building, we are trying to buy a physical bank and own that. We're not going to own the actual entity like Chase Bank, Bank of America. I wish we had that kind of money, but we're not doing it that way. And I'm intentionally telling you this because some people get on the internet and lie and be like, oh, we bought Truist Bank. We bought Wells Fargo. No. We're buying the land that the bank is sitting on in the physical commercial building, and that's the bank that we're buying. But I digress though, right? The whole point of the matter is this. At the level I am now, I sow a seed by buying real estate. I sow a seed by having a long-term buy and hold real estate portfolio of stocks that I'm just holding, right? I sow a seed by having intellectual property, whether it is my Make a Million First board game, whether it's my Sheep the Christian card game, whether it's my ebooks, my physical books, my audio books, whether it's intellectual property that I share on social media like this, whether it's the software that my team is developing that you guys will see here soon, whether it's our private community and all of the courses and trainings that we share exclusively for just the people in our private environment, right? All of these things are seeds. Outside of that, I'm an equity partner in several different businesses, right? So from the outside looking in, somebody might say, well, JT is just the guy that make the YouTube videos. Well, what happens when the YouTube videos don't get a lot of views, don't generate a lot of sales? It's another cooler, sexier person on the internet that's talking about business, and they got a nicer car. Hey, full disclosure, right? I'm in a circle of real wealthy people, and it's not to say that they don't have the flash, the glitz, and the glamour, but like I would say every millionaire that I know also has some regular stuff that people that have never had and may never have the kind of money that they have will be like, yo, why would you have that? Case in point, right now, I'm in a Honda Civic, right? There's a Honda Civic Sport. I own it cash. This is not my only vehicle. And yes, we got nicer vehicles. I never post them just because I didn't buy them for the internet. Not saying I never will post them, but I just have yet to date never posted them, all right? So I'm going, even on a Saturday morning, I got a little business to handle, right? Gonna go run around, do a couple of things. And then today is a learning day for me, all right? And that brings me to my next point, all right? It's very hard for you to sow seeds if you gonna sow a seed today and then want to pull up the harvest tomorrow, right? So case in point, could I have said, instead of me spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, because I'm let's be real, a lot of my wealth in real estate is from appreciation. So out of $1.3 million, I put $700,000 in cash in it, right? So a little more than that, but for nice round numbers, I put $700,000 of my cash in it, and then I've been holding it for years. It's been cash flowing. It's been appreciating. Now it's worth $1.3 million. Could I have taken that $700,000 and instead of buying a small group of properties cash that would appreciate over time and cash flow to me, could I have just put a little money down on a lot of properties and bought a $300,000 Lamborghini Huracan, Aventador, Urus, whatever car I wanted to buy? And by having that car, people would believe that I got more money, right? Now, the reality of it, nobody would really know, but could I have said, I'm going to buy less real estate, right? Less things that actually will make me money, grow my portfolio, get me to where I'm trying to be, but I would look like money, and people on the internet wouldn't know that I really don't have it like that because the car looked like I really got it like that, right? Respectfully, I'm not going to call the gentleman's name, but I know people that are in a major city where all of your favorite influencers are, and there's a car dealership that will give you like 15 years financing on a hypercar, 100%, 0% down, 100% financing, right? Now, there are some nuances here that I'm not trying to confuse you with, but let's just get straight to the meat and potatoes of it. For $1,500 to $2,500 a month, you could have a car that make you look like you're a multimillionaire. $1,500 a month is only $18,000 a year. $2,500 a month is only $30,000 a year. you watching this already make probably well over $30,000 a year, right? I'm not saying that you should go spend it in a car, but the reality of the situation is being an entrepreneurial farmer, I don't want you to actually look like you're successful. I want you to actually be successful, because the impression that they're giving you, like most highly successful people not going to say, well, I own $1.3 million worth of real estate debt free, and then turn around and be transparent and say, well, I only spent $700,000 cash for it, and then it appreciated over the years, and it's been cash flowing to me as well as it's appreciated. And now that same $700,000 seed is a $1.3 million seed, right? What they're going to say is, oh, I got a $1.3 million worth of real estate, and you're going to believe, not somebody, right, is going to believe, right, that, hey, man, bruh spent $1.3 million cash on the real estate, right? Or he's in such a great financial position, the bank lent him $1.3 million, right? That's not the case at all, right? So what I want to do is I want you to holistically understand success, the unsexy side of success, because that's what it really is. Man, $1,500 a month ain't no money. $2,500 a month ain't no money, right? We could kick it together for a couple of hours and we could develop a strategy that could get you making $1,500 to $2,500 a month within the next 30 to 90 days, depending on who you are and what resources you got available, like time, money, network, blah, 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 right? So we could come up with a strategy in the next 1 to 3 months, and you could be in a Lamborghini, a Rolls Royce, a McLaren, a Ferrari, right? But now you on the hamster wheel. Now you gotta like try to make everybody and their mama believe that you got money, so that way they'll spend money with you because you really broke and you just got a car, right? So being an entrepreneurial farmer, we have to be patient enough to know that it's okay if somebody that planted their crop years ago is picking their harvest now, and we're just now sowing our seed. We got to be okay with some people out there that might start off with a small plant, and you got to start off with the seed, right? Some of you all ain't got no seed. You got to first go get a seed and then go get a place where you can sow that seed, right? So don't try to rush success because you're looking at people that are successful. I'm not taking anything away from them, but you don't know where they started. You don't know the real behind it, right? I've been in rooms where, and I found out about this after the fact, right? So I'm talking business with a group of people, and there's somebody that's there, and they're mostly quiet. They're in the corner on the laptop. They ear hustling, as we call it, and every now and then they'll interject something. Oh man, you got a business? What's the name of your business? Oh man, you own some real estate? Man, tell me about that, right? I'm just thinking that it's a networking event. Everybody talking. It's really nothing going on, right? So everybody is just rapping to each other, all right? So at the end of this person that's in the corner pulled me to the side and said, man, you one of the realest people in this room. I was like, thank you, right? You know, I don't really know what you mean, but appreciate it, right? Nice meeting you as well, right? They was like, nah. So what I was doing is, as everybody was talking, man, I'm pulling up. I see you have a registered LLC, S Corp, blah, 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 business entity here, right? So the stuff that you're talking about, like, I see that it really exists under this name. When I search what you said about real estate, oh, I do see that there is, you know, this stuff existing. And matter of fact, you own more property than what you was talking to them about. I was like, yeah, it wasn't really relevant to the conversation we was having. So I was just talking to them about what we were talking about, right? And they was like, yo, at the same time, do you know they don't really own that stuff? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying that you gotta own stuff in order to be legit, in order to be real, in order to be whatever. There is a whole school of thinking that says as long as you control it, that's all that matters, right? You'll hear people preach, own nothing, control everything, right? And I don't think that that is a right or wrong discussion to be made. The whole point that I'm making here is I want you to be able to enjoy the flash, right? I like seeing a supercar, a hypercar, just as much as you. I like to see people with diamonds on and dressed to the nines with their designer on as much as you. I like to see people with big mansions and private jets and yachts and everything, right? I'm a human being just like you. I think all of that stuff is cool. The problem that I have is that I don't want you to be rushing to get those things at the expense of building financial freedom, having real wealth, because now you look like you got money, but you really broke. A great book to read is called Midas Touch. It's written by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. You can hate their guts as individuals, but what they done entrepreneurially speaking is undeniable. So I'm not telling you that you got to vote for them or be on this political side or agree with this statement. I'm not getting into politics with you. I'm just giving you a gem. And some people are going to miss out on life-changing opportunities just because they hate the messenger so much they can't receive the message. So the book is called Midas Touch. And I read this book, man, probably over 10 years ago. But the book is so good, I still talk about it to this day. Man, it's so many gems that if you're ready now, if you're ready to get to the next level, that's a must read, or go to Audible and listen to that book. If you're not ready, it's going to be a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo, right? So let's recap to make sure we're on the same page, family. One strategy that has allowed me to, when times were good, to maximize the money that I was making. When times was hard, it allowed me to be able to be in position where I can weather the storm, whether it's bad economics in the world or my personal economy or what have you, is being an entrepreneurial farmer. Being an entrepreneurial farmer is taking the principles of a traditional farmer and applying it to entrepreneurship. Number one, what we need to do is we need to prepare our environment to be conducive to success. Just like a farmer would identify what season is it, right? Man, I want to plant collard greens. Well, that's a cold weather crop. So, okay, man, I want to plant tobacco. Okay, that's this, that's that, right? So seeing what season in your life are you in, and then basing the crops or the seeds that you sow season that you're in. When I first became an entrepreneur, I was 24 years old. I'm 35 now. At 24 years, I was cool with not sleeping at all. I was young, sleep when you're dead. I got all the energy in the world. I'm not old now at 35, but I'm also not in my 20s no more, right? At 35, I kept my butt to bed, right? Like my bedtime, I have an alarm set on my phone at 8:30 every day, no matter where I am. My alarm goes off to say, get in the bed, right? I want to be asleep by 9 o'clock. I also want to get up early in the morning as well, right? So we get up early, so we go to bed early. But at 24 years old, if you would have said, man, go lay your butt down at 8:30, try to be asleep by 9 o'clock. Like now, not every night I do that. Like last night we did a midnight mastermind, but my normal bedtime is 8:30 to 9 o'clock, right? Somewhere within that window. And I have an alarm every single day that goes off. Whether I listen to it or not, I still have it go off every single day, right? So I share that with you because at 24, man, I'm a dog. I don't care if I gotta work 16 hours a day because I don't have much money anyway. And I understand that the price is still the price. The price of your success is not going to be reduced by the lack of resources that you have in this moment. So if, for easy math, if $100,000 a year in business is going to cost you $40,000, maybe not up front, maybe you start with a few thousand, maybe even a few hundred, depending on what your business is. And then as money comes back, you got to reinvest that money all the way up until you invest $40,000 over a year to make $100,000, right? The cost is still the cost. It costs that much whether you got 100, whether you got 40,000, whether you got $0. So I understood that in that season of my life, I didn't have much money. I didn't have any network of people that could help me. And I had very little knowledge. I had my knowledge bank consisted on what was available on YouTube and what books I could go buy in Barnes and Nobles, right? If it wasn't on YouTube or it wasn't a book in Barnes and Nobles that I could go buy, like it wasn't no mentors. It wasn't no TikToks back then, right? So that I was limited by that. Now here's the thing. Social media like YouTube is great if you know what to search for, right? Understanding what a triple net lease is and how to get a commercial building and then lease it with a triple net lease is a game changer that the wealthy people play. That's why now we're looking at commercial real estate. If you never in your life know to type in what is a triple net lease in commercial real estate and then go down the rabbit hole of what it is, why is it powerful, why do so many wealthy people buy commercial buildings and lease it under a triple net lease, you will go your entire life without even knowing a play that the wealthy people have. So social media is cool, Chat GPT is cool, but do you even know what to ask it? Because it's going to answer your question, but if you give it a dumb question, it's going to give you a dumb answer, right? You ask it a smart question, it'll give you a smart answer, right? So understand what season you are in your life, and then I want you, right? Then I want you to say, I got to match what I'm doing with the season I'm in. I'm 24 years old. I got $3,500. That ain't no money. Man, I got to work 16, 17 hours a day. What I lack in money, I got to make up and hustle. So early on, for those of y'all that's been rocking with me for years, you remember that my old videos was talking about, man, we going to start with $0 and make $300 today. We going to do this and go to that. And for the sake of time, you might have watched a 10, 15-minute YouTube video that was pre-recorded, that was edited, that just to make it entertaining and educational. But the reality, that was a 16-hour day. If you break down $300 divided by 16, 17 hours in the day, that show you how much money, if we was making it per hour, we made. And who wants to work 16, 17 hours a day? I was sleeping 3 hours was on average. I only slept 3 hours a night. Either I was hustling, trying to make money, right? And I'm talking about legal, ethical, moral hustling, nothing illegal, right? So either I'm out there trying to hustle or I'm looking for a hustle to do. That's it. Imagine working 14, 16, sometimes 17 hours in a day, right? You tired. I'm talking about labor-intensive work. This is not working with your brain. This is working with your body. Labor. I had a moving company. I had a delivery company, right? I gotta ship stuff. I gotta load it up. I gotta drive it. I gotta unload it. Sometimes I gotta put stuff together once I deliver it to where it's going. So a labor-intensive job for, imagine being a moving company and a physical delivery company 16, 17 hours out the day, working multiple contracts with multiple vendors. And then after that, then you go home, you take a shower, you sit down on the floor because you're that tired, and you on your phone or on your laptop, and you looking for either more ways to make money using the equipment you already have, or looking for new ways to make money so you don't got to keep working 16, 17 hours to the day that you die, right? Now, at 35, the idea of that will kill me. At 24, I was like how Young Jeezy used to say, let's get it. Man, I'd rather work 16, 17 hours a day for myself and then get off and spend another however many hours it take to research different plays, whether I'm on YouTube or I'm reading physical books that I got from Barnes and Nobles, trying to figure out how to be a successful entrepreneur. And then finally crashing out somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning just to wake up at 4:30 to 5 to redo it again because I got to get to the warehouse where the freight is coming in and get ready to do my route again, right? Fast forward in 2026, whether you are 24, 35, you got $3,500, $35 million, or whatever you got, the resources you have give you an advantage that I didn't have at that time. So here's the nugget to the entrepreneurial farmers out there, right? So as an entrepreneurial farmer, we got to sow multiple seeds. And when we don't have much money, instead of saying, I don't got $3,500, I don't got hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't have this, what do you have? Okay, yeah, you got a disability. Okay, yeah, you broke. Okay, yeah, you this. Why don't you take the same device that you're watching people on the internet dance, do funny videos, talk about making money, and say, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice my day off, whatever day that is for you, and say, I'm going to wake up at 6:30 in the morning. And by 8 o'clock, I'm going to be sitting down in front of my TV, laptop, or on my phone, and I'm going to dedicate, just like it's a job, I'm going to give 8 to 8.5 hours of only tuning in to this subject, right? Same way you would go to work and be there for 9 hours, having a 30-minute to 1 hour lunch break, but working for 8 hours. Say, I'm going to sacrifice one day of my life and I'm going to learn everything there is to know about this one subject. Not saying that you can master anything in a day, but here's what I'll tell you. Doing that for 8 hours one time will make you above average compared to everybody else that's talking about doing it. I'm telling you what I lived early on. Like, it's cool to talk about being rich, and now I got 6 full-time workers, and literally my life now is I have an idea. I go into WhatsApp because my team is in the Philippines, and I say, hey, this is what I want, and then they figure it out, and they bring me solutions at the most cost-effective rate. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it costs a little money, but now anything, oh, you know what? I wish we had a software that could help business owners get customers, because a lot of people do business, they got great skills, they can't get people to buy from them. What if we had a software that actually not only told you, but did it with them, did it for them to help bring business to their company, right? Bring clients into their company, all right? That's a WhatsApp message now. And then Jiro and Adrian, which you guys want to see here soon, my editors are going to edit that video and then I'm going to drop it on the channel, right? That's my editors, though, are Jiro and Adrian, right? They go build it and they say, here you go, sir. Here's that app you wanted, right? What do you like about it? What do you don't like about it? Oh, I don't like this color. Change that color. Oh, I don't like the load time of this. Make this load faster, right? But in the beginning, though, man, how do you get in position to have people that you could just say, hey, I wish this happened, and they go manifest your ideas? You start off being the person. You got money or you got hustle? Drop it in the chat right now. Let's do this in real time, right? You got money or you got hustle? Drop it in the chat. And let's quantify money. Do you have at least $10,000 you can invest in your business that's mentorship and executing on whatever the mentor told you, hiring the people, or if you're going to learn stuff yourself for free and just execute on it without a mentor, right? I don't recommend it, but that's still a path that you could take. I started off that way, lost a lot of money. I went homeless that way, but I got a mentor and just kept grinding and figured it out. So to each their own, but drop hustle if you have less than $10,000 to invest in your dreams, right? And if you have at least $10,000, I'm not saying to give it to me. I'm just saying to invest in the hiring the people, investing in the software, investing in taking lower risk investments. Because if you got a little bit of money, let's be real, every opportunity you got is high risk, right? If I got $500, the opportunities that are $500 that's gonna make me any meaningful amount of money are gonna be very difficult and they're gonna be very risky. Here's why, JT. Not to be pessimistic, not to make you feel bad about having $500. I want to educate you on this. If there are rich people, people that got, man, combined, I'm probably worth $4-5 million. I don't have that liquid. I got that across real estate, businesses I invest in, intellectual property that I own. We do pretty decent cash flow every year, but as money comes in, I reinvest it out. I don't keep it liquid because I understand inflation, depreciation, right? Economies at scale, that sitting on $1 million becomes less money if you don't put that money to work. So full disclosure, even if somebody wants to be very generous with my net worth probably $5 million. Realistically, somewhere between 3 to 4. And that's talking about hard tangible assets that I could sell within the next 30 days or less, right? Depending on the real estate market, because like 1.3 of that is real estate, right? So depending on the real estate market, within 1 to 3 months, I could have between $3 and $4 million cash. That wouldn't be smart, but that's what I'm saying, right? I'm talking about people that got $100 million, $50 million, $20 million. That's what they make annually, right? If there was such an opportunity that was low risk, that was low labor, that $500 would turn into $50,000. Or $500 would turn even to $5,000, and it was easy, it was low risk, there's a high ability because there's never no risk. There's no risk even on a job. But there's very low risk and high probability that it's gonna work. Even with the little change I got, I would sell everything that I have, including my primary residence, which will push me a little bit higher in net worth, right? I would sell everything I have. I would go get a room at the Motel 6 for like 60, 70, I don't know how much it costs, but I know it's not that much money. I would go stay at a Motel 6 or whatever the cheapest hotel is per night, right? And I would invest all of my money, 10x it. If $500 will go to $5,000, what happens when I put over $3 million in it? If it's going to 10x it, that's $30 million. I go stay at the Motel 6 and let people call me broke and let people call me a fraud, because while you staying at the Motel 6, I'm like, man, hey, like, hard times don't last, hard people do. I don't know what to tell you. And then boom, when I got $30 million, go right back to living the life I was living before. You know what that's called in business? That's called a market. So if there was an opportunity, and there are certain opportunities that are there, these opportunities are high risk. These opportunities take hustle, because when they do, if they do become low risk and highly probable of being successful, Bitcoin goes from $300 to over $30,000. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan in 2018. No. I'm lying. I joined in 2008. I got my years in 2009, right? 2009, y'all know that 35 is showing, right? In 2009, I was in Okinawa, Japan. I lived in Japan for 2 years because I was stationed there in the United States Marine Corps, right? 2009 to 2011, I was outside the United States, right, for those 2 years, all right? In that time frame, if you have questions, drop your questions as well, right? In that time frame in Japan, people was like, yo, first I heard about it, it was like $200 and something. Nobody could tell me what it was. Then I heard about it again while I was over there. It was $300 and something. That was for an entire Bitcoin. And you could Google what a Bitcoin costs today after watching this live stream. It was 300 and something dollars when I left Okinawa, Japan in 2011. Compare that to the price today of a Bitcoin. So if I would have had, which I did, right? I was broke in the Marines, but I had $200-300, right? You know what I mean? So if I would have been willing to take the risk, let's be real. In 2009, Bitcoin, nobody, well, not nobody, the majority of the world didn't know what it is, right? The few people that knew a little bit about it was like, that's how criminals move money around. All right. And I was like, I'm not a criminal, so why do I need to have some criminal money to move money around the dark web, right? I don't even go on the dark web, right? So that being said, I passed on it. It was super high risk, but now that it's considered to be a lower risk, what has happened? There's been a market correction. Even if Bitcoin takes a crash, what's the likelihood of Bitcoin ever being $200 to $300 a coin again? So being an entrepreneurial farmer, what we gotta do is we gotta operate in faith. So you're gonna have to sow a lot of small seeds because you don't know. At the same time that they were talking about Bitcoin, they were also talking about, and I can't remember all of them, they were talking about some other cryptos as well to invest in, right? People was telling me at the time, like, yo, there's a franchise called Herbalife. Man, people that get into this Herbalife franchise is making crazy amounts of money, right? And I never got into it. You guys can tell me if you ever sold Herbalife, if that was a good investment or not, right? So there was a lot of different things that people were saying, but that didn't guarantee that you was gonna make money. Of course, if I would have known then that this $200 to $300 investment would have been worth 1,000 times more plus in the future, I would have spent my entire Marine Corps check. I was already living in the barracks. I was already eating at the chow hall. I had a cell phone bill, and in Japan, Marines wasn't, well, I was a junior Marine at the time. I wasn't allowed to have a vehicle anyway. So all I had was a $50 cell phone bill. I ate for free, I lived for free. I would have took all of my money that the Marine Corps gave me, minus $50 to pay for my cell phone bill, and I would have thrown all of my money. Now, all of my money probably was only maybe $1,500 a month. So I would have put that $1,450 a month after paying my phone bill. I would have bought as many Bitcoins as I could with $1,450 a month left over. Now, in hindsight, let's say I did that just for the 2 years I was in Japan. When I got stationed back in the States before I got out, I started keeping my money because I want to buy a car, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? Cool. All right. Every month, that would have been what? Let's say for easy math, I would have got 3, 6, 9, 12. I would have got 4 Bitcoins. 4 Bitcoins a month, 12 months in a year, 48 times 2, right? You guys know I can't add up this high. I'm gonna say 96. If I would have taken that risk back then, I would have had, let's say nice round numbers, 90 Bitcoins. 90 times the current price of Bitcoin would have made my net worth what? Somebody real quick, just one person, go look up what's the current price of Bitcoin, multiply that times 90, and drop it in the chat for me. Drop it in the chat. All right. Now, when I would have invested in it, I wouldn't have known what in the world this could even do. So it would have been, by all intents and purposes, a dumb investment, a stupid investment. Just like, I don't know what would be the equivalent today of a Bitcoin way back then. But, oh, you know what? I think that this is a way better investment, but how the world at scale is treating it. Imagine if you go all in on AI today. I think AI today is way better than Bitcoin was in 2009 and 11. But what if you said, I'm going to take all of the money I'm not recommending this, I'm just talking to you about it to give somebody time to drop it in the chat what that number would be, right? Um, so 90 times whatever the current price of Bitcoin is, right? Imagine if you said, I'm gonna live modestly, I'm gonna drive a Honda Civic, right? I'm gonna live in a basic house, nothing crazy. I'm gonna take care of my responsibility, my family, my bills, my whatever. And every dime I have above living a very modest life, right? Just staying alive and keeping the people that I'm responsible for alive, I'm going to dump all of that extra money into AI. That would be the equivalent, in my opinion, today. What's the average person going to tell you? Man, JT, you crazy. I don't know what you smoking. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing to say that in the next 10, 15, 20 years that investment will be what Bitcoin is today. So you would be wise, especially if you don't know anything about AI, to say, I'm not going to spend all my money in AI and then it don't work out and then I'm broke and ain't got nothing to show for it, right? So all of that to say this, here's the overall point that I was making, but I wanted to go deep because I wanted you to understand it, is that when you have small amounts of money, you got to do high effort investments, and they're also by their very nature going to be high risk investments because they're low money. If and when they become low risk, high probability of success, great investments by their nature, know that they don't have to be cheap. So people with money, way more money than me, would spend a whole lot of money because it's low risk, high probability of success, great, right, above average returns. All right. When that happens, it forces the price, simple supply and demand. There's a limited number of anything that's valuable. So it's going to force the price of that asset up. And then what is it going to do to the person that has $300 to invest? Fast forward from 2009 to 2026. You can get a piece of a Bitcoin, but you ain't gonna get anywhere near the smell of a whole Bitcoin for $200 to $300 today. So as an entrepreneurial farmer, I want you to sow a lot of small seeds, right? Now, once you have a harvest that is booming for you, I want you to spend a disproportionate amount of your resources on maximizing that proven harvest, but you still never stop sowing small seeds, right? I told you guys, man, like in a lot of, I'm transparent. I'm not a millionaire with the Midas touch that everything I touch turns gold. Out of 25 businesses that I've started over here from 2014 to 2026 and beyond, and the other businesses that I plan on starting and investing in, right? Only 4 or 5 of them actually were successful. I don't know what hit rate that is, what success rate that is, but I've been right 4 out of 25 times. That means that and it wasn't consecutive. It wasn't like right, you made a lot of money, now wrong 21 times in a row. It's like I was right once, I was wrong 18 times. I was right again, I was wrong again a few times, and then, okay, I've been wrong so much that I really understand, okay, when I do this, it's wrong. When I do this, it's right. Okay, let's not do that anymore. All right, and now, okay, moving forward, we're not afraid to keep taking risk, take advantage of opportunities because we learned so much. But that took years of my life. It took 12 years because for a good bit of that, I was afraid to do what I needed to do, whether that was a mentor, whether that was invest at the level I should be investing in, right? Whether that was being a lifelong learner. I had all of these belief systems that I had to conquer in order to get to where I am now. And I'm still not where I want to go. I want to have $100 million business. I'm a long way away from $100 million, right? Let's just be honest. All right. So if $100 million is the goal, I'm broke, right? Salute to everybody that's here. What do you do? That's a great question, right? So what I do primarily is I own a media and marketing agency. So I have not just this YouTube channel and the JT Hustles Instagram account. I own several digital media assets. And what a media marketing agency does is they garner attention and then they turn attention into dollars. How do you turn attention into dollars? Advertisers will pay to run ads in your content. That's one way that you can turn attention into dollars. You could sell products or services to the people that follow you. That's another way to monetize it as well, right? You can increase your valuation and you can sell the entire asset in its totality. That's another way you can monetize it. Your only limitation is your imagination. So what I primarily do is I own several different footprints. One is a trucking one that I never show my face on. Another one that I own is for single stay-at-home moms. With the power of AI, I don't have to show my face and I can still have a presence on all of these platforms, right? So different media brands. This one that I show my face is predominantly talking about how to make money for aspiring and current business owners that are under 7 figures a year, really under 6 figures a year. They help you get to your first 6 figures and then go to 7 figures, right? So that makes me the most money. The strategic partnerships in that, to be more specific, because I own some media footprints myself. I also am an equity partner in other people's media companies. But to oversimplify it, I own a media and marketing agency that generates money. I take that money and I sow seeds into real estate. I sow seeds into buying and holding stocks. I sow seeds into buying equity into other businesses outside of media companies. I got a small equity position inside of a restaurant, which is actually where I'm going to swing by today as well and have a conversation with my partner there. I have daycare centers, which technically I don't. What I mean by that is I buy them to put them in a trust fund for my 8-year-old daughter. By the time she is whatever age, she's mature enough to handle it, I want to give her a portfolio of children. So technically we purchase them, but they're not mine. They belong to a very rich 8-year-old, right? And gonna be even richer by the time she's, I don't know, whatever age women get mature, right? I know not 18, even though she'll be an adult then, 18, 21, whatever age a woman is considered to be an adult, but I'm gonna give them to her whenever she is an adult. So that's what I do though. I buy real estate, I invest in businesses, and by invest, I have a small ownership position in businesses that are already successful, or I'll buy the entire company. And the newest venture that we launched starting December 2024, that's the last new venture that I started, and we've been working on that all the way now, it's February 2026, is I've been buying software companies and building software companies using AI, using my development team, using just all of the resources that exist today. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Right? What should a 75-year-old widow do? She should do whatever she want to do. Right? There's no limitation just because you're a 75-year-old widow. If you want to make millions of dollars, make millions of dollars. If you want to travel the world, travel the world. Right? Your only limitation is your imagination. All right. Somebody said, JT, don't give all the information, man. But I owe it though. I owe all the information, man. I'm not the smartest guy, never been. Cheated my way through high school, cheated my way through college. The statute of limitation is up on that. They can't take my high school diploma back. They can't take my associates, my bachelor's, my master's, and I received an honorary doctorate degree. They can't take it back now. Shoot, I graduated with my master's in 2017. The same year I came on the internet talking about business, I had business and I was finishing up grad school, right? Hat Fire, appreciate it, man. This is actually a brand owned by a teenage kid out of Atlanta. And man, if he stays consistent, I think that there's gonna be a place for him in fashion, in apparel, just in whatever endeavors him and his mom decided to do. 15 years, yes, for real. There are places out there that now they're not doing it for JT that work at the hog plant, he not getting no 15-year zero down like play on no Lamborghini, right? It's a who you know game, and I'll just leave it at that, right? But in a major city where all your favorite, think about what major, and it's multiple cities, but think about what major city all the cool rich entrepreneurs are in. They ain't in North Carolina and South Carolina, but what's one city that comes to mind? It seems like everybody there is rich, everybody there got a hypercar or a supercar, everybody there got a mansion. That's probably the city where this exists. All right. Ready to see you do good. I've been watching since 2020. Appreciate the love, man. Our order is successful people read all the time. Absolutely. And if you busy, one subscription that by the grace of God I hope to pay for the rest of my life is called Audible. So we live in a subscription age. People have a subscription to Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, the gym, might have an Amazon subscription like Amazon Prime. I'm not dissing you. I got these subscriptions as well too, right? I got an 8-year-old daughter. If Disney Plus will get her off of my nerves, by all means, Disney Plus, enjoy, right? Enjoy this couple of dollars a month. I made a decision though that I wanted to have, if I'm going to have certain subscriptions that don't put money in my pocket, don't improve my health, don't improve the quality of my life in any way, I need to also have some positive subscriptions. So I also have a gold subscription. So every month out of my account, money goes towards buying gold. Once it reaches whatever the cost of the size gold bar that I want is, it's sent, and then it goes into my safe deposit box at the bank, right? I know that sounds old school. I know we live in a world today where people got $1 million Dracos and they got a big safe at the house with $1 gazillion in it. Maybe I'm old fashioned. Maybe it's a waste of money to have a safe deposit box at the bank, but you call me what you want. But that's just what I do, right? So I subscribe to Gold. I subscribe to Audible because it gives me access to books, and I can listen to books. Like, even when I leave or in this live stream, I'm going to be listening to a lot of AI stuff today. I bought a Mac Mini yesterday after talking to my good friend Ben Cooper. Man, Ben Cooper is one of them ones. He works with high net worth individuals, but a genius, right? You got to get some geniuses around you. Let's leave it at that. All right. Why are you trying to promote a book written by scamming Donald Trump when you sound like somebody else, right? Hey, it is what it is. You could buy the book. You could not buy the book. I really don't care. I'm telling you that if you're ready to get to the next level, entrepreneurially speaking, it's a book you need. I don't care if you don't like the person that wrote it, don't buy the book, right? So easy as that, right? And I love that. I love that as well, right? All right, I love that. So I love the reality of the situation. I'm not even talking in this segment. I'm talking to those of you all that are adamantly against the person, so much so that you refuse to even get any value at all from them, right? Because that's your decision, all right? That's your decision, all right? And I know that a lot of people that I know personally that feel that way, they don't really mean it anyway. If you really hate them, get a passport, move out the country, change your citizenship, right? If you don't like what he's doing, if you don't like that the country that you in allowed him to be in that position, because he didn't put himself there. So if the electoral college or the democratic system, however you want to look at it, if you really hated him, right, then okay, Why support the system that allowed him to be in office? Why stay in an environment you hate, right? So if you really meant it, what would you do? You would get you a passport. You would move out of the country. You would find a place where you do like it, where they do treat you how you want to be treated, and you would get your citizenship there. Whether you had the money or not, if you really hated it, you would figure it out. Just like if you were in a domestic violence situation and that man or woman was beating the heck out of you every night, if you really hated them, you wouldn't say, well, I ain't got no job, I don't got no car, I don't got nowhere to go. What would you do? You would leave anyway, and you would figure it out after you. So if you feel that way, you feel that way, whether you mean it or not. But I know most people I meet in real life, they just talking, right? If you really hate it, then leave. I really hated working a 9-to-5 job, so guess what I did? I quit working 9-to-5 jobs. I ain't complain about it. I ain't say, man, they work us this hard, they don't give us no money. I left. I left before I was ready. I left before I had the money that I probably should have had when I left. I was dead set on, I don't like this. So instead of complaining about it and still taking it, because don't nobody care about you complaining, you still gonna stay here. You still gonna let us make money off of you. We still gonna collect tax dollars off of you, right? Hey, if you really don't like it, then separate yourself from the environment, right? That's just real talk. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm not trying to be aggressive or mean. I'm just trying to be black and white, as clear as possible on the subject matter. But here's why I like it though, getting back to that point. Is like, man, to those of you all out there that say, hey, look, I could take salvation from Paul. I'm going biblical, right? You guys know I'm unapologetically a believer. If you don't understand it, that's fine. But if you're the person that says, look, I'm willing to take advice from Paul, knowing he was Saul, knowing what Saul did to people like me, but I'm still willing to take advice from Paul because I know that the advice he's giving me is more valuable than holding the grudge as to who he was or who he is to me, right? You're already light years ahead of the people that say, I can't trust Paul because he used to be Saul, or he is Saul to me still. I don't care what he called himself, he still this to me, right? You already gave yourself an advantage because you got other people that have the same goals as you. They in the same dogfight as you, but somebody is like, hey, look, you know, if you go here, and I'm not saying that Donald Trump is Paul from the Bible. Don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is that if the messenger alone is enough to make you say, I don't care what the message is, that's your choice as an adult. You do whatever you want to do. Even if that includes me, that's fine. But to those of you all that say, I can dislike you and I can still benefit from this situation, I'm going to still, in any environment, I'm going to thrive. I cannot like the president and still figure out how to thrive under his leadership, right? I cannot like this person or that person, but I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot before the marathon. I don't got to be their friends. I don't got to love them. I don't got to invite them to the barbecue, right? I can still get maximum value from this situation, right? And not care about the person personally. Now, you already are going to stand on the shoulders of giants, right? Nobody said you had to like the giant whose shoulders you standing on. Who told you that, right? Who told you you had to like the giant? Who told you the giant had to like you standing on his shoulder, right? So, boom, boom, boom. An electrician, let me know. What state you in? All right. Yep. Good VA service in the Philippines is onlinejobs.ph. Easy. All right, so I see a lot of people say hustle. Some people say they got both, right? Which is cool. If you have hustle, and for those that came in the room late, here's how we quantified it. If you got less than $10,000 to invest in your dreams, you got more hustle than you got money. That's not disrespect, but let's be realistic. If you say I want to make $100,000 a year, $10,000 is only 10%. You don't have 10% to invest in yourself. And I'm not saying give it to me or give it to another mentor. I'm talking about in actually doing the thing that will make you $100,000, right? Just for clarity, right? So you don't have 10% to put into it to get another 90% from it, and you not willing to figure out how to get it so you can sow that seed to get the other 90. You got to bring hustle, right? That's the only way. Now, if you got $10,000 or more, now you got enough money to be able to take advantage of not necessarily the safest investments. Every investment has some level of risk, but something as small as $10,000 opens up so many more investments to you that now you don't gotta be competing at the bottom. They'll say, well, it's lonely at the top, but it's a dogfight at the bottom, right? Would you rather be in a dogfight at the bottom? How many people are applying for the same job as you, right? I mean, literally, not just you a therapist, they want to be a therapist, but the exact same position as you, right? And compare that to the company that y'all applying for a job for. How many companies in your area that you could think of are adding that value or trying to add that value to the marketplace, right? In most markets, there's less businesses competing to add value to that market than there are individuals trying to apply for any job that they're going to create in that same exact market, right? So if you got hustle, here's what I want you to understand. Take small, educated investments. You're going to have to do a lot of them, right? Small is relative to what you're trying to make. $100,000, a small investment is $10,000 or less. Maybe even slightly above that is a small investment, but it's relative to what you want to make, right? We're talking about 10, 15, 20% for another 80. All right. So relative to what you want to make. And you're going to have to take several of them. Never invest in anything that you don't understand. I can tell you that I invested $700K across several real estate properties, buying them free and clear because in the South, real estate is cheaper, right? And through appreciation is now worth over $1.3 million. All right, cool. Well, if you don't know nothing about real estate, you can lose every dime to your name investing in real estate, right? To your name. All right. So I want you guys to only invest in things that you understand. And if you have a small amount of money, small is relative to the investment, right? Investing in real estate, small amount of money is more than if you was gonna start being a content creator, right? All of you all with $0 after this live stream is over can go live and share whatever it is that you're good at, right? If you're good at trolling in the comments, you should go live and you should tell jokes and troll on everybody. And if you're good at it, you'll garner an audience. And guess what? You can make millions of dollars as a troll, right? Just talking negative in the comment section about people, all right? And I'm using that as an extreme example because we're on social media and a lot of people are afraid to do social media because they're worried about the trolls that are in the comments, right? So that being said, I want you all to understand that that's the reality of your situation. You're going to have to invest small, few hundred, few $1,000s consistently across things. All right. When you have the smaller amount of money you have, of course, by its very nature, the smaller investments that you got to have and the life cycle of that seed becoming a viable harvest becomes lower. If I had $75 to invest, right, instead of having $750,000 to put into real estate, I had $75, right? 100,000 times less money, right? I'm not going to put it in real estate and get $1.3 million over the last 5-6 years, right? What I'm going to do is have to take $75 and I'm going to say, okay, the first thing I got to invest in what I know. So I got to find a book. I got to find a course. I got to go to Udemy. I got to go to YouTube University. I got to go to Barnes and Nobles. I got to find something that is free or very inexpensive. And I got to learn about money. Because if all I have is $75, I don't even understand money. I just got $75. And this is not, of course, people get in their feelings when they feel like it's directed at them. And I want you to know it's all love. I'm your favorite country cousin, right? I'm not a perfect person. I'm working on my health. I'm working on my businesses. I'm working on my relationships. There are all areas in my life that I need to improve on. So if you say something about you could do better business, you could do better with your health, you could do better in your relationships, that's true. That's not an attack on me. I'm aware of that. I'm working towards that as well, right? So being family, when we having real talk, it's in the spirit of love. And the reality of the situation is, I don't know if you got $75 or $75 million. So I can't be talking about you because I don't know what you got, right? But if I had $75, right, I don't even understand money. I might think I do, but I don't, right? So I got to learn some basic principles. I got to learn that if I'm going to get rich, I got to start living off of half of what I take home. I got to save to invest the other half of my money. That's if I want to get rich. If I want to get wealthy, I got to start living off of 25% of what my take-home income is. I got to save to invest 75% of my income. I don't care if you work at McDonald's or if you work at Berkshire Hathaway, right? Or anywhere in between. All right. Now, what if you look at your check and you say, man, I can't live off of 50% of this. I can't live off of 25% of this. Congratulations, you crossed the first hurdle, right? You are now self-aware enough to know that you have to spend less or earn more or do both. Congratulations, right? So now you already know, okay, I don't make enough money. So some people don't even know that they have an income problem because they say, well, I pay my bills, but their bills is 60, 70, 80% of what they make. And they don't know that, look, you got to increase your skills. You got to increase the value that you create in the marketplace, because even though you are working a job and you are getting a paycheck, right, you are not making enough money to ever in your lifetime. This is math. This is not emotions. This is not theory. You are not making enough money in your lifetime to be able to comfortably retire. Not even get rich or wealthy. If your bills are eating up 60, 70, 80% of your income, you not maxing out your 401k plan because you need that money now to survive. If your company is doing a company match, it's crumbs, right? So even when you look up one day, your social security check gonna be trash. Your retirement gonna be trash, right? You gonna have less than $2,000 a month to live off of for the rest of your life. And now you gotta hope that you die before you run out of the money. And now you looking at the news and you mad at whoever the president is then because they talking about this gonna happen to your social security check, or the price of milk is going up, or the price of gas is going up. And you like, man, I'm on a fixed income. But when you were in your prime working years, you played. You were undereducated. People were coming here telling you, not just myself, there's thousands of people on the internet telling you every single day, you need to make more money. You need to save to invest. You need to start a business. You need to start making investments. Don't depend on that 9-to-5 job to protect you and take care of you when you retire till you die. Don't depend on the government to protect you or take care of you to the day that you die. But you said I couldn't do that. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have the money to do that. And guess what? Life don't care what your excuse is. Life gonna say, okay, you don't know how to do that. You ain't got the money to do that. You can't do that. Somebody in your situation, okay, cool. All you gotta do to ensure that your life get worse is stay the same. I'm gonna say that again. All you have to do to ensure that your life gets worse is stay the same. Think about it. If you would have earned, think about how much money your grandma made. If grandma, and I don't have any living grandparents, so salute to you if your grandmas or any living grandparent is still alive, right? This is not a diss. This is just for illustration purposes. If grandma made whatever she made when she was your age now, right? So you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, right? If whatever grandma was making when she was your age at 25, 35, 45, whatever, if she never made more money than that the rest of her life, how hard would grandma life be today? It might be impossible for grandma to stay by herself. She gonna have to go to an assisted living facility. She gonna have to go to a nursing home. She gonna have to go stay with her kids or her other relatives. Why? Because the cost of living has increased so drastically from the time that she was 35 to the time that I'm 35, that if her income would have stayed fixed, if she would have stayed the same, she wouldn't be able to survive. Straight up. And the same thing is true for you. You keep on telling yourself you ain't got the money to do it, you can't do it, you don't know how to do it, right? And you stay the same, and you look up one day, and now you become grandma age. And now you on a fixed income, and now you crying about the same thing grandma was crying about, but you had the opportunity, but you were too afraid, you were too lazy, right? You were too scared to take advantage of that opportunity, right? Boom, boom, boom. Somebody said 6 million, right? So, yep, if I would have had 90 Bitcoins, right? Right? If the math is right, I'm trusting million, or I would have had my current net worth in Bitcoin alone would have been $6.5 million. That would have been taking $1,400 a month. Let's look at the math on that. That would have been around $16,000 a year, 2 years, $32,000 invested, and then let's say I never put another dime in it. $32,000 over 2 years would have turned into $6 million net worth today. But that was such an insane risk that the only people that would have did that were rich already. If you were already rich in 2009, which I was not in the United States Marine Corps, now I served beside some people that were, ironically, but I was not rich in 2009 in Okinawa, Japan. All right? So people that were rich already, of course, oh, $32,000 in Bitcoin, let's do it. Boom. Fast forward, oh, I got $6 million worth of Bitcoin, and the market is actually in a pullback right now, right? Boom, boom, boom. Let me see where we're at real quick. Are you still doing the Airbnb host? Yep. I'm an Airbnb super host. I'm an Airbnb preferred stay. I'm thinking about getting into Section 8, not as opposed to Airbnb, but I believe that, and I want you to adopt this as well, entrepreneurial farmers, right? I believe that every asset we have money 3 different ways. So I want to be invest in property that I could put on Airbnb or Verbo or any other Peerspace, any other rental site. I also wanted to be in a good enough condition and in a good enough location that I could also lease it to any regular person that a middle-class family would stay there. And then I also want to be able to Section 8 it as well. So I want to have a property that is good enough for any middle-class family, $150,000 a year income, can rent it out. Airbnb, somebody would happily stay there. We'd be booked like 48 weeks out the year on Airbnb, and also Section 8. So as I build my real estate portfolio, I'm buying properties that If Airbnb slow up, I could just throw a long-term tenant in there and get a lease. Economy crashes and it's hard for me to get people on Airbnb or get somebody to sign a 12-month lease. Well, you know what I could do? I could just throw it on Section 8 and get checks from the government so the economy pick back up, right? So, but yes, to answer your question, I'm still in it. All right. All right. So if you guys are not in my free Telegram group, in 15 minutes at 12 Eastern Standard Time, every single day, weekends included, I drop detailed strategies to make money with less labor using AI and SaaS and whatever, right? Cost you nothing to join. Telegram is a free app. I don't own that app. I wish I was smart enough to, but I don't, right? So Telegram is free. You download the Telegram app, joining that Telegram channel. It's called AI Income Plays. It's absolutely free, right? So go over there, join that community. I don't have no sales pitch. Last night we did a flash sale on our sales system for $100. If you missed it, you missed it. Regular price is back on it now, which is $2,000. So shout out to those of you all that took last night. But today, just join the free community. All right, click the link underneath this video, join the free Telegram community and tap in. Right, somebody said, I tell you, there's very little influencers that's transparent. Oh yeah, like this is what it is, right? One of my unique sales propositions, if you will, if we're talking about me as a product, is that I don't believe that the people that I'm called to serve by the grace of God, I don't believe that I got to, what's the right word? Because I want to be respectful to the people that do it. I don't have to overhype you up, right? I do think that you should be excited about investing in yourself. You should be excited about taking. But what I want you all to understand is that I don't think that I gotta give you all hype, all fluff, or else you won't do it. I believe that I can be honest with you and tell you entrepreneurship is gonna be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it, right? Right? So I think that, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's why I'm not the biggest on the platform. I don't have the most followers. I don't have the most this. I don't have the most that. You guys tell me, right? But I believe that I could be real. I could tell you, yo, we make a lot of money. I reinvest it back out into real estate, software, buying other businesses. Like, I'm trying to build $100 million company. I can't build $100 million company if every time I make $1 million, I run it up my arm and I say, oh man, I'm flexing on y'all. Y'all should buy my course, buy my course, buy my course, so you can run the money up your arm as well, right? So when I make money, I got to put the money back in play, right? That's what I respect about Dame Dash. Now, you can love him or hate him as well, but he's transparent about, as he makes money, he put his money right back out there. So if you believe that he broke, if you believe that his net worth is negative or whatever, that's fine. But he keep his money in play, right? And I, to a large extent, do that as well. All right. Got a rental property in Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington is dope. I'm not sure if I should rent it out Airbnb. Airbnb will probably make you more money. Renting it out will probably be less headache. I would say, what's your goal? If you just want consistent income coming in and don't have to worry about cleanings and all of the extra things that are going to come along with having it, then just get you a rental. Just get you a regular rental. You'll be fine. All right. Working on my health, down 120 pounds. That's something I can speak on. Man, it is so easy to sell health that, yes, if you're down 120 pounds, right, understand this. The richest people that I know, they might be great in one area of their life, but they might struggle with their relationships with their kids or their spouse. They might look to be healthy, but they have addictions. And so the inside of them, if you can see inside of them, is very unhealthy, even though they might be underweight or muscular or whatever, right? Or they might be physically, right, showing that they got visceral fat like I do, right? Like, so, hey, we got to work on that this year and be very intentional about that. All right. So, yes, if you're somebody that's in the health and wealth space, for sure. All right. People are way too dependent on a job. Think that's crazy. I'll never put anybody's life in my, anyone else's hands again. I would say that that's amazing. And I would love for everybody, and I'm talking to Big Money for Life that dropped that gem, right? I would love for everybody to live like that and think like how we think, because I'm with you there. But I'm also empathetic to the fact that some people, they need that security. And even if we share with them, well, you should do joint ventures, you should do franchises, it'll give you that same security, but still give you that freedom of being an entrepreneur. It's certain people that's like, man, I just gotta have that guaranteed check every other week, or I just won't be able to function. I'm afraid that I won't be able to survive. I don't trust myself enough. I don't trust whatever. I don't trust the economy, the environment. So what I like to tell people is that one income stream is too close to zero. Whether you have a business or you have a job, one income stream is too close to zero income streams. So I don't care how many followers I got on the internet. Guess what else I need? I need some other real estate, right? So I need to have some stocks. I need to have some investments in some other businesses, right? I'm gonna drop a gem on you guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out your face, right? Data is saying, and this number can fluctuate depending on what study you read, and the times can be changing. LinkedIn has 1 billion users. Less than 2% consistently post on platform every single day. What does that mean? That means that there is a huge potential number of people sitting on the platform, and they might get notifications, they might check it here and there, but it is a huge pool of potential buyers with very little to no market of sellers consistently getting in front of them. There are people that are building multi-million-dollar businesses in 8 months on the back of LinkedIn. You can use tools like clay.com. We are actually building a tool that, of course, I'm going to say it's better because we're building it, that helps business owners on LinkedIn as well. But imagine, if you will, in the world where everybody thinks you should be a YouTuber, you should be on Facebook, you should be on TikTok, you should be on Instagram. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. That's cool. Be everywhere you can be without spreading yourself too thin and diluting your brand and your messaging. Be everywhere you can be. But at the same time, what if you could also say, I'm going to go where the asymmetric risk is, where there is a small potential risk of failure, but there is a huge upside if I learned the business of LinkedIn, right? Some people, they'll say, hey man, you from social media, when you gonna get a real job? I told them probably never. I made millions of dollars with a fake one. Why won't I just keep the fake one, right? I made more money with my fake job than you made with a real job. I bought more real estate, bought more stocks, invested in more businesses. I think this fake job thing is gonna work out, right? But that's really just a belief that they have. That's a trust issue that they have. And I'm challenging you all to start saying, okay, what is going to be my second way to make money that's independent of my job? And then going deeper with that, JT told me everything I do should make money in 3 ways. So if you got a job, money 3 different ways from your job. You should get a paycheck from whatever you're doing at your job. And then whatever skill set they paying you for, whether it's your time, energy, knowledge, or whatever, you should be monetizing that in other ways as well. Is that a podcast? Is that developing your own product? Is that developing your own service? Is that creating a consulting service where you help other people in whatever way you can help them? I don't know. It depends on you. But if your job creates 3 different income streams from you, and then you still say, well, one income stream primarily stemming from your job is too close to zero, I'm going to make money at least 2 core ways, and then I'm going to have 3 ways in each to monetize them. If you follow that one tip alone, you go from having just a job to having 3 income streams, even if your job is leading those income streams. Then you say, okay, well, I got to find at least one other way to make money, right? And now, okay, cool, boom. So break this down, JT. I made money as an independent courier. Then I wrote a book teaching people how to become an independent courier. That's a second income stream. Then I started telling people for free how to, oh, this is not in order. First, I did the business. Then I got on social media. So let's go through it in order. First, I was an independent courier. I made money doing that. As an independent courier, I made money as an expediter. I made money as a delivery route driver. I made money as a moving company. I don't do any of this at all anymore, but this is how I got started in entrepreneurship, made my first 6 figures and got disposable income to invest in the things that would make me millions, right? So it's a great starter business. I just didn't hold on to it long. All right, so I made money as an independent courier. Then I came on social media and I started teaching people for absolutely free through my videos how to start their own non-CDL transportation business, right? Now, from that, my social media became monetized as it grew. Advertisers started running ads on my content. They started giving me a check every single month, and I didn't even have to sell anything to anybody. I just was helping people for absolutely free. Then people started saying, look, man, it's so many videos about this subject matter that you've broken down. I don't have the time to watch all of these free videos. Is there a way that you could consolidate this? Like, just tell me just exactly what I need to know in the simplest terms. Will you write a book? And I would push them. I say, man, just go watch the free videos, man. You don't got to buy a book. I told you for free. Man, I ain't got time for that, man. Just write the book, I'll buy the book. Wrote the book. The very first month I dropped the book. The book made more money than the ad revenue check I was getting from social media, right? It wasn't a lot of money, though. It was like $1,400 was the first check I got from the book. But every single month, that book sells and pays me money. And I have books on Amazon. So Amazon cuts me a check. I have books on my own publishing company. authorjt.com is the website as well for that, right? And we make sales consistently from those assets, all right? But the point that I'm making here is, what if I had any job? It wasn't a courier business. What if I just taught people about that industry and told them everything that everybody else is putting in a book, a course, or a mentorship to sell to them? And I grow organically, I grow quickly because I'm not holding anything back. And now I turn that one income stream into 2. Or maybe I'm really, really funny, and people at my job say I'm really funny, or I could cook, or I could dance, or I could talk business, or I could talk religion, or I could talk politics. So I just share that on the internet for free. Now I get an ad check. Now, what if in time, another layer of people say, you know what? Like, it's cool what you're doing, but I'm not that type of person. I value my time more than I value my money. I want this value, but I'm not going to spend all day long for you to give it to me. If you can't give it to me in a bite-sized, consumable way, I'll just go to somebody that will. So then you package it up for them, and they buy it as well. Now you took one income stream, you flipped it into 3. Right? I took one income stream and flipped it into 3. If you do that with everything you do, this is sowing seeds. This is being an entrepreneurial farmer. One day you look up and you say, man, bro, we killing it, right? We killing it. Man, I got so many income streams, and people like, man, how? How are you doing this, right? Oh, just got a notification. If you in the Telegram, if you jumped out and joined that free Telegram, hey, you just got a gem dropped on you for absolutely free. That's the power of AI. That's the power of systems. That's the power of having a team. I tell you guys every single day, we give you a detailed strategy, what to sell, who to sell it to, how to sell it, how to make it, what the price it at. All you got to do is be in that free Telegram. And I just got the notification that I got it, which means that everybody got it. So you need to go join that free community as well. Let me see if there's any more questions before I get out of here. If my main goal is to get the most property I can get from it, that's Airbnb. Over just leasing it is Airbnb. All right. In most markets, and Wilmington for sure is one of them markets. Matter of fact, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but somewhere near Wilmington, y'all got those boat houses, those 2-story or however big they are, boat houses, and I'm gonna go check them out sometime this year. I don't know when, but I be seeing them on Instagram and on TikTok, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go there. I don't know when, and check them out. And I think that's in the Wilmington area as well, right? Yep. Okay. Any questions about being an entrepreneurial farmer? Any questions on strategy, right? For people that came into the room late, you need to rewatch this from the beginning. This is a live stream that you could just rewatch it and learn something new every time you rewatch it. These are my car ride chronicles where I just ride around and look at property and or go do business or go meet with business partners, and to leverage the time other than just driving. Because normally what I do, I'm just a big old nerd, in case you didn't know that, right? I need to turn around and look at something. I'm just a big old nerd, right? I'm a cool nerd though, because I'm rich. And once you make a lot of money, you cool, right? So I normally listen to my audiobooks. So I got a Bible audiobook. I'm trying to listen to the entire Bible in a year. And then if I'm not listening to my Bible audiobook, I'm listening to business audiobooks, or I'm listening to business podcasts, business YouTube channels, stuff like that. I don't listen to music most times. Nothing wrong with music. And occasionally I might just play some music, but 90+% of the time I don't listen to music. I'm listening to something educational or something that I think that can help me in my health, my wealth, my relationships, whether they're my spiritual relationships or my interpersonal relationships, whatever it may be, right? How can I find my first property if I don't have any money? You go to your local county office and you write down, because they're not going to let you record in there. Typically, most courthouses won't. But you're looking for the pre-foreclosures and the foreclosures list. You can also go to the county website first to save you a trip to see if they post that openly. If they post any properties that are going into foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, or tax sales as well. So you'll go find those properties that are available. If they're pre-foreclosures or foreclosures, you can reach out to the owners, see if they're willing to go on the contract for you to buy their house. And then once it's on the contract, you can middleman that deal over to a buyer, and that's wholesaling 1-1. And people do that all of the time. It is very time consuming. It is a numbers game. There's different wholesale strategies, but to be honest with you, wholesaling, you're going to convert at a 2 to 5% conversion rate. And that's if you're talking to the right people. If you're talking to the wrong people, you're going to have to talk to way more people, because you got to get to the right people through the wrong people in order to get to where you're trying to go. But if you're doing it right, you're going to have a 2 to 5% conversion rate. So for every 100 right people that you're talking to, expect 2 to 5 of them to actually do the deal, and it go through, right? It goes through. And that's averages. There's always people that are below average. There's always people that are above average. So you might do 1 deal. You might do no deals if you're below average. You might do 20 deals if you're above average. But If you ain't got no money, you about to spend a lot of time hustling, right? It just is what it is. So you gonna go reach out to pre-foreclosures and foreclosures. That's free because the bank has to notify the county, and everything the county know is public record. So you're gonna go with a pencil and paper and write down the addresses, and all the information is free. And then you're gonna cold call, cold email, or go knock on their door and try to have a conversation. And it's gonna be a numbers game, right? I don't recommend trying to figure out how to do it broke. First, I would fix why are you broke, the belief system that allowed you to become broke, right? So why is it okay for you to be broke at this stage in the game, right? Because if it wasn't okay, you wouldn't be broke. So is it because, oh man, it's okay to be broke because of I got bills, I got kids, I don't make a lot of money to start with? Well, that's a belief system, because there's people that got more bills than you and more kids than you, and they still got more money than you. So if kids and bills was the prerequisite of being broke, everybody with bills and kids would be broke. So you got to figure out what it is about you, change that, and then we can start building on a foundation from there, right? Oh, by the way, I looked at 2 of my properties already. I didn't want to bore y'all to death with it, but it's been done. It's been done. Like I told you guys, I'm looking at some properties that I own, and every now and then I just like to drive past them. Don't stop. Don't say nothing to the tenant. Don't say nothing to nobody. I just, and I got partners like managers and stuff that manage the property. But maybe it's the paranoid in me, maybe it's the country boy in me. I still want to kind of see, with my own eyeballs what it is. All right. So is it a way to just help people create a consumable way to serve an audience with Notebook LM? Like I've heard of Notebook LM. I haven't practically used Notebook LM. So I would say it's definitely possible, but I don't want to lie to you about it. Everybody here has a Range Rover, right? Even though I know that they're notoriously unreliable, like, man, Range Rover is killing it, right? Boom, boom, boom. So yes, it is possible. With AI tools out today, right? With AI tools out today. So here's the thing, though, right? Talking about doing it with no money. Let's be real. You got over a 50% likelihood of failure. So more times than not, you'll fail. If we're talking about real estate wholesaling, depending on what you're doing, you're going to have a 2 to 5% conversion rate. So let's say you're somebody out there that's broke, and you already frustrated that you broke. Already frustrated. I ain't got much money. I want to do real estate, but I'm broke. There's a 2 to 5% conversion rate if you good at it, right? So, I got to end this live stream.